Hey everyone, it's Erin Fletto here, and I am here to review these Kelly Creates Dream Pens. So there's multiple kinds of pens from Kelly Creates, which, I mean, if you've seen her channel, she is incredible and so consistent, it's ridiculous. So she put out several of these. I think she has metallic, she has regular. I decided to go for these dual edge brush pens because these are the first I've ever seen of this kind, where it has a large brush pen on one side and a small brush pen on the other. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox this and play around with them and then let you know what I think. Everyone, so that's it for this video. I just want to go over kind of my final thoughts when it came to these pens. My first thought is that the pink and purple feels a little out of the color palette for the rest of the pack, and it doesn't really match. The purple matches a little bit more, but they don't really match what it looks like the color they would be. I kind of wish the purple was a little bit more of a vivid purple to match kind of the vivid colors of the rest of the palette. The only other one that's not really vivid is this light blue, which I feel didn't really match the pen top either. But I kind of understood because there's a dark blue in the color palette. So having more of this muted blue is kind of nice. But the rest of them seem pretty vivid, so to have that pink and purple seems a little out of place, but maybe that's just me. The other thing is I felt like this is kind of a good intermediate brush from when you're switching to Tombows or a larger brush pen. You know, if you're coming from something like this Pentel Sign Touch or a Tombow Feud, then I feel like this is a pretty good intermediate brush because you can go from the smaller, more flexible brush pen, and I think the smaller one in particular will kind of help you control the pen a little bit more. What I didn't really like is I wish that there was a little bit more of a difference between the large and the smaller brush pen. I like that the smaller brush pen is more flexible and lets you get these thicker lines, but at the same time it just felt that there wasn't enough difference between the two. If I write it out here, this is me going totally flat with the large brush pen and then totally flat with the small brush pen. It feels like there's not enough difference between the two. I love that they included the color teal because that's one of my favorite colors, so I'm really happy that teal made the color palette. And again, the fact that there's two brush pens in one pen, a larger and a smaller, is really attractive to me. It's what made me buy this particular set in the first place because she has a couple different sets. But I really liked that there was two brush pen sides because with the Tombows have the bullet pen, so if you want to do a smaller thing, they don't have all of these colors in a small brush pen. You have to go with like something like the Pentel Touch, and even that is kind of limited in its color palette. And if I write out with the bullet pen of the Tombow, I feel like I always have to do this faux calligraphy and it doesn't look great. But I mean, the same thing can be said on the opposite end for Kelly Creates. You know, if I want to write like I did in my bullet journal to label what kind of pen it was, then I only have a brush pen to write with. I don't have a bullet pen. So I don't know. It depends on what type of project you want to use for it. For bullet journaling, I can only see using these for headers, which is fine because it doesn't have any more or less ghosting than any of the Tombows or Pentels or anything like that. So it holds up pretty well in a bullet journal. Again, you can only really use it for headers and things like that. But I specifically chose this set for the two brush sides, so I guess I can't really critique it that much for that fact. Also, she is a letterer, not a bullet journaler, so her main goal of creating these pens was to have a pen for lettering. So overall, I really like them. Overall, I really like the smaller brush side versus the larger brush side. I feel like the larger brush side is a little bit more limited because it doesn't have that big of a difference. But the smaller brush side gets those thicker lines, and I feel like it would be nice for bullet journaling also. So that is my overall thoughts on these markers from Kelly Creates. Having two brush sides to a pen is pretty cool, and I really like that she kind of went outside of the box to produce those. I will link her products in the description. Also a thing to note if you are in the US or Canada, she carries these pens specifically in Michaels, and Michaels always has those awesome coupons like for 40, 60% off, stuff like that. So that's what I use to get these pens to begin with. So I'm really happy with them overall. Thank you all for joining me this week, and if you want to see more reviews, let me know in the comments what types of products you are interested in me reviewing. If it's planners or pens or fine liners, anything like that. Let me know if there's something specific that you want to see before you go out and purchase. And I'll try to help out and give my thoughts and critiques on them. So if you want to see more of these types of review videos, please like and subscribe, all of that cool jazz, and have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.